Shut up and sit down.
Okay, yes, boom, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that was my new intro as made for me by Red Celt. Haven't settled on the music. I still want to alter the music on that, but thank you very much, Red Celt, for creating that for me. So this is on the back of a very lazy month for me, that I largely took away from YouTube, just 2 videos made. And a lot of catching up to do, a lot of which won't be done. And I apologise, by the way, if I look a little bit red-faced, like I've just swallowed, like Donald Trump's monthly prescription of Viagra all in one go. But I've been outside, cycling, cleaning my car, doing outside stuff all day. And I can feel the sun that's actually been in my eyes this afternoon. So I apologise for that. But there's 2 things that I wanted to talk about here. The first was a video that I just seen by Tim Demotivator Opinion. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. But the point is the same. It's the point that's interesting. And it's this business of friend policing that I wanted to talk about. And you know, it's an interesting thing, this, and I think it's something that we'll all have a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to. This idea of when somebody tells us that they're not prepared, they're not happy for us to be friends with this other person. And the case that he had involved a circle of friends that he has involving Christy Winters and a few other people, including the ranting feminist whose name is Claudia Brown. I don't even know if that's their real name, but that's the name that they use other than the ranting feminist. And the ranting feminist is friends with Shoe on Head, and Shoe on Head is friends with Lauren Southern, and Christy Winters has been giving her one of her matriarchal tickings off about being friends with June, with Shoe on Head, and she's not happy. And this caused quite a furore, I think, in these circles. And ranting feminists has quite rightly said something, and I'm paraphrasing here, I don't think she's actually said this, but something along the lines of, you can go fuck yourself, right, I'll be friends with who I want to be friends with. And I have to say, that is absolutely the right response to give, not least because, as I said in a comment on Tim's video to ranting feminist herself, right, if there's one thing that breaking a friendship up with somebody over somebody else is guaranteed to do, it's to push them even further into the clutches of that other person. I think we all viscerally understand that. Everybody has been in this position where somebody has said to them, if you're going to remain friends with that person, you can't remain friends with me. And the immediate reaction is, well, fuck you then, right? It doesn't matter which way round it works. If somebody tells you to choose between that person or them, you instinctively err for the other person, don't you? I could not see ranting feminist breaking off her friendship with June over Lauren Southern as doing anything other than making June feel an even greater affinity towards Lauren Southern. It might not be the rational, dispassionate thing to think or do, but that's just the kind of visceral way we all work upon. And yeah, so I kind of admire ranting feminist for that. That's what I wanted to say about that. The other thing that I wanted to just mention briefly, because this is just a brief video, was on the whole Tommy Robinson thing. Because I knew nothing about this. I've been raging, I think, for a couple of days, and I took a couple of days not just off YouTube, took more than a couple of days off YouTube, but a couple of days off from watching the news. I wasn't aware of this, and somebody said, hey, what do you think about this? And my reaction was, I just don't know anything about it. I'll give you my reaction now, which is that I find it very hard to feel any sympathy for Tommy Robinson in this, because are they prosecuting him because he's Tommy Robinson? I don't know that. But what I know is that the way that this works and the way that the judiciary functions and trials function, and I know in the UK, quite often, you will get a sensitive trial, and the first thing you will know about it is when the jury passes their verdict, because up until then there has been a reporting restriction, and that applies to all journalists. You're not allowed to talk about it because a judge has decided that to do so would prejudice the trial. The judge has decided. The government hasn't decided, right? Let's clear this up. Let's clear this up, maybe, because I know there'll be some people saying, well, the judiciary is part of the government, and I understand from some perspectives the government is the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, but that isn't the way we view it in the UK. We have a kind of fused executive and legislature, and then we see the judiciary as somewhat separate and in opposition to the government. And all the time we'll talk about the judiciary stifling the efforts of the government, which means the executive and the legislature, which are all fused into one, to do a certain thing. It is the judiciary that have decided to do this, not the government. Ergo, the executive plus legislature that have decided to do this. And they've done it with good reason. And it isn't a decision that they do lightly. I have issues with some of these injunctions and super injunctions where even after a verdict has been carried out, the press are not allowed to comment on them. That worries me a little bit. But that isn't what we're talking about here. We're talking about an ongoing trial with press restrictions. And the idea, one of the defences I've heard of Tommy Robinson is that he's reporting on it, as if that makes it okay. No, that makes it worse. The point of these restrictions is precisely to stop reporters, the press, discussing these matters, because in the opinion of a judge, for that to happen could prejudice the trial. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the far right, the far left, the right, the left, or you're right a little fence-sitting fucking centrist right in the fucking middle. If you disobey that, you are going to get into serious shit, which is why the press has learnt the lesson the hard way. You don't disobey that, and why the press tag along with it, because they know that they get into serious shit. So for him to stand outside a court and to disobey that, if he doesn't get into serious shit, then we'd have to be cutting special slack to Tommy Robinson on the ground that he's on the far right, and I don't see any justification for doing that. So for all these scary skin-headed people marching through Leeds, right, maybe you need to find some better cause to march behind. Okay, that's my feeling on that. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.